I believe that all success and all progress comes from asking questions. It comes from having a burning desire for more and a hunger to know the answers and to serve others. So let's say you do have that desire. Let's say you do have that burning hunger and you have that curiosity. So how do you actually fulfill your dreams? How do you actually make that a reality? How do you actually close the gap between where you are and where you want to be? Well, you've got a couple of different options. Either you can try and figure it out yourself, you can learn through trial and error, and if you're determined and persistent enough, you'll probably get there eventually. But what if I told you there was another way to condense decades into days? What if I told you there was a way that you could shrink that gap massively? Well, there is a way, and it all comes down to modeling proven practices. It's simpler than you might think. Basically, what I mean is find someone that is where you want to be. Find someone that's had the success that you want and model what they do. And if you do what they do, eventually you can start to think how they think. There's a pretty good chance that you can start to get the results that they've got. You know, I've done this all throughout my life and my career. And every time I follow proven practices, I have massive results. So when I first started my first company almost 10 years ago, I had no clue on how to run a company. I didn't know the first thing about sales and marketing. I didn't know how to run a business, nothing. Okay? So the first year I was in business, I made $6,000. Wow, a whopping 6,000. The second year I made 9,000. And then I realized something needed to change. Something wasn't working. The dots were not connecting, and I needed to figure out what was happening. So I decided to work with a home inspector marketing coach. That was the industry I was in, home inspections. And I started to model what he did. I started to study his systems. I started to study his strategies and his marketing and his sales script. And eventually I started to put these into practice. Some of these things I put into practice immediately. And that year I made 60,000. Then I dug in even deeper and I modeled his practices even more. And the year after that, I made 200,000. And I jumped all in. And the years following, I think the next 3 years, I made roughly $500,000. So I went from 6,000 to 500,000 just by modeling proven practices. I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you how important and powerful modeling proven practices can be. So I'm telling you, find someone to model. So how do you actually do that? How do you find someone to model? What are the best ways to model proven practices? Well, there's all kinds of ways, but I'll tell you my 3 favorite. So the first one is read books. Find books in areas that you want to grow, that have skills that you want to learn, and really dive into those. The second one is immersive learning experiences. So this could be conferences, this could be seminars, this could be workshops. These are really powerful because, like my coach says, you can condense decades into days. And the third one, and most powerful, and I believe one of the most powerful methods for success and condensing and shrinking that gap, is get yourself a coach. Find a coach in the area that you're trying to grow in. The amazing thing is about a coach is that they can give you immediate feedback. They can show you where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. You know, when I hired a coach, he was able to bring out the strengths in me, which is one of the ways that I was able to really get success and momentum quickly. I can tell you with 100% certainty that if I did not model proven practices, I would not be where I am. I would not have 3 successful companies, and I would still be trying to figure it out on my own. And I have measurable results from each one of these 3 methods. I've used all 3 of them. So when I first started my company, I was reading books about marketing and sales and business skills and social skills and all of these different things. And I made some pretty decent progress. Then I started to go to seminars and conferences, and I really started to refine and hone my skills. And I was able to put some of my skills into action. But everything changed when I decided to hire a coach to work with me personally. Because then the feedback and the accountability and everything that comes with working with a coach made it to where I could really condense, and I started to drastically increase my income and my fulfillment. And almost all areas of my life, it was almost like magic. So don't underestimate the power of modeling proven practices. Here's the thing, you are unique. You have a special set of skills, and you bring something totally amazing and unique to the table. So I'm not saying that you should try and jump in and be someone else. I'm saying just model their practices. Take the things that serve you and throw out the rest, as my coach likes to say. So sure, you could do it on your own. You could try and do it through trial and error. But how much time is going to be lost in the process? How much time will be wasted while you're trying to figure it out? You know, Tony Robbins says that modeling proven practices is one of the 3 pillars of mastery. And when you truly master something, then you're basically guaranteed a trickle down success in other areas of life. So I would love for you to really revisit your goals and your dreams this week. I would love for you to, instead of thinking, how do I get there? Maybe think, who? Maybe think, who can I model? Who can I find that can help me get there quicker? Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for taking the time to learn how to shrink the gap massively. And if you're a real estate professional and you want to step up and learn how to model proven practices, if you want to learn how to shrink the gap massively from where you are to where you really want to be, and if you're tired of trying to do it alone, if you're tired of trying to figure it out and through trial and error, click on the link in my bio and let's set up a discovery session, and let's you and me sit down and chat, and let's see how we can model proven practices, how we can apply these strategies to collapse decades into days, and how to shrink that gap so that you can step into the professional and the person that you were always meant to be. Thank you for being with me here today. Thank you for being willing to learn and grow. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out any of my other videos on my channel. Remember to keep growing every day and empowering those around you. See you soon.